Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Pushing Profit. If you are new here, my name is Michelle and I am a part-time reseller. I sell on platforms like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. So if this is something that you're interested in, please feel free to keep watching some of my other videos. Be sure to subscribe and ring that bell notification so YouTube notifies you every time I upload a new video. And if you enjoy this content, be sure to hit that like button. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all the items that I found while thrifting on Saturday morning. And I went to quite a few different yard sales, and then I actually ended up at Goodwill as well. I was able to start listing most of those items this weekend, and actually there's already been a couple of items that I've already sold. So be sure to keep watching and you'll see exactly what sold the same day I listed it. On this first yard sale, it was pretty good. They actually had a lot going on at this yard sale. This table had some mugs. I did go ahead and pick each one of them up and just kind of tested just to see what, the quality of them were, what kind of prints were on there, see if there's anything that stood out to me or if I should check anything. And I didn't, so I did go ahead and move on. As I made my way through to the back, I noticed that they had a lot of prints and pictures, a lot of artwork, and a lot of really beautiful items. And honestly, I just don't know really too much about artwork, but definitely some beautiful pieces of art here as well. I did come across this tote, and I found some vintage Pyrex. And if you don't know, certain Pyrexes will go for pretty decent money. I do think that some of them out there are worth definitely a lot more than others. But I did find quite a few pieces at this particular yard sale, and they were all in really good condition. There was no chips or anything like that. None of them came with lids. Now, if you do find any that come with the glass lids, definitely pick them up, especially if they're, not asking for too much. And actually, they were only asking $1 a piece per item, and there was a total of 5 pieces. I didn't even look up any items, any comps on them or anything. I knew even, I'd definitely be able to make my money back with it just being $1 per item. But I did go ahead and pick those up. And as you can see on the comps, they're going to be pretty worth selling as well. And they're already listed. So I did come across this Canon camcorder. It's a ZR600. And this was a really cool find. When I would look through it, I mean, this was in pristine condition. There was no kind of scratching. I mean, it didn't even look like anybody had used this item. And there was all kinds of items in there. There was the remote, all of the cords, the different manuals and adapters and so forth. I did go ahead and look up comps just to see, what they were going for. At this point, I didn't even know what they were, asking for the item. And she came over and she told me $10. And when I looked up the comps, it was just amazing in terms of what I'd be able to sell this for. So I definitely picked it up. Okay, so this next yard sale was actually at a place of business, and they had just a whole big setup here. And so I did go ahead and just start looking around and picking up items, seeing what the quality is of each item. And I came across this mini Black & Decker automatic chopper, and it looked in pretty good condition. They were asking $5 for it. There was like a little small chip in the base of it, but it was towards the top. So I didn't think it was going to affect the use of it. I did look up comps, and I noticed that it was selling anywhere between $20 and $28. It was definitely a lower weight item. And so based on the comps, I thought that would be a pretty good pickup. So I did go ahead and pick that item up. Then I came across this vintage GE food processor, and it looked to have all the pieces, but I wasn't 100% sure. And it was in pretty good condition. There was a couple little scratches on the very front of it. I'm here, I'm looking at the model number, and that way I could look up the comps on it and see what it's going for. Sometimes these older appliances, it's better to part them out because maybe somebody still has one and they're just looking for a part that may have broke or whatnot. And so as I'm looking that up, I am keeping that in mind just in case it's not in working condition. And when I looked it up in terms of selling it parts only and then selling it as an actual unit, they were both going to make probably between $50 and $60. And so they were asking $8 for it. I actually ended up asking if they would take both appliances for $10, and they did. So I was able to just get each one of them for $5. So this next yard sale, there was a lot of people here. This is an Odyssey 2 by Magnavox, and this was a really cool find. It looked like everything was there, vintage for sure. And when I looked up comps, they were going anywhere between $50 and $70, and that's pretty much the amount that the individual was asking for. And so I did go ahead and pass on this item because I wouldn't have been able to make a profit. But how cool of an item is this still in its original box? And it just goes to show you never know what you're going to run into or find or whatnot. So unfortunately, I did have to pass on it, but that's okay. I just went ahead and moved on. The next, the next place I went to was an estate sale, and this was probably one of the best estate sales I've been to in terms of pricing. Really low pricing. All of the DVDs were 5 for $1, which was 20 cents each. I almost just made them an offer for all of them, but in terms of storing, I do have to keep that into consideration as well. So I did go ahead and just kind of look through, and I did, I would comp some of them, and then I would just grab some that I knew that I've either sold before or I thought would be good sellers. One of the genres that I really like to pick up are horror films. For some reason, horror films go pretty quickly. So, like, if you're out and about and you're trying to find, which movies to get, most of the time I do pretty good with that genre as well. And so, all in all, I did ended up picking up a total of 10 DVDs, and was really happy with those 10. So only $2 into this, and definitely a good find there. So I did go ahead and make my way over to the book section, and these also had some really great pricing. It was 5 hardback books for $1, and all of the paperback books were only 10 cents a piece. And so I did see a lot of like old vintage cookbooks and just some magazines and so forth. And as I was going through, I ended up finding some really cool art books, kind of like drawing books and how-to books, if you will. But when you felt them, it just felt old and vintage. And so I kind of pulled them out and just started looking through them. And they definitely had some just really cool designs. And you could tell that they were really old, and they were really, really large as well. So I ended up talking to one of the ladies there and telling her what I did, and she was kind of explaining to me about some of those books. Then she showed me these 3 vintage hardback books, and they were really cool. I think this one that she's showing me was like dated 1887 or something like that. And so I did go ahead and look through them, and you could tell just the feel of everything, and the papers and so forth were definitely some good finds. I really don't know too much about rare or older books, and so I haven't listed these yet. I am still doing a little bit of research on them. In terms of these actual paperback books, I did go ahead and look them up to see if they were, you know, comping well, and they were selling pretty regularly. And, based on, the 10 cents each, I did go ahead and, pick them up because I know I'll be able to either lot them together. And the cool thing is, I am actually going to end up, you know, shipping these via USPS media mail. And so that works out even better. This is a vase. It's actually a milk glass vase. And it was really beautiful, very unique. I almost thought about keeping this. It was so pretty. And they were only asking $1 for it. I did pick it up and it ended up already selling. So a really cool find there and really happy with that purchase as well. Definitely a good find. I did come across these paintings, and when I looked at them, they were just really pretty, very antique and old, unique. And the top two didn't have anything on the back when I looked at them. They were just plain. But the third one was marked and it was actually numbered. And so I did go ahead and look it up. And there was a couple that had sold, and I want to say anywhere between $25 and $30 or something like that. And not very many. But again, because of it's an antique, I thought, maybe it would be a good, item to pick up. And they were asking $2 each for those frames, and I ended up offering $1 each for them, and they did take it. So I have, $3 into all three of them, and so I definitely think it was a good find. All in all, I want to say for between everything I picked up, I paid maybe between $5 and $6 for everything, and I got quite a bit at this yard sale. So I was really happy with that, and it was actually an estate sale, so definitely some good finds there. Last stop of the day, I ended up going into our local Goodwill. I don't go into this Goodwill very often. It is a very small Goodwill. So, if I can hit it maybe once a month, I'm happy with that. But, if I have a chance to go in a little bit quicker, I will. I did go ahead and go straight to the electronics department and just kind of look through to see if there's anything that caught my eye. I did pick up this remote, and it was an Epson for a projector, and it was in like really good brand new condition. I mean, there is no kind of, damage to the battery compartment or anything. And so I did go ahead and look up the comps on this remote, and it was comping really well. And they're actually selling pretty often on eBay. And so I was really happy with the comps that I did find on this item. And so I did go ahead and pick it up, and I do have it currently listed. As I made my way through the rest of Goodwill, I ended up coming up with this. It's from Hallmark. It's a 50th anniversary Ford Thunderbird collector's edition. And so it's just these two little ornaments. And so I thought, they're in their original box. Went ahead and I looked them up. And, depending on the time of the year, selling between 25 and 35, some of them even sold for $40, but most of them in like that $20 range. And so I definitely thought, even if I have to hang on to this, it's not a very big item until we get into the holiday season, I'd be okay with it, especially if, they were asking, I think, $7 or $8 for it. And so I still would be able to definitely make my money back off of it, if not more. I did go to the shoes section, and I just want to show you, I don't pick up shoes very often, especially at Goodwill, because some of their pricing is just ridiculous, in my opinion. Like they're Asics shoes. I mean, they're in good condition, but $20 for these shoes. I mean, there's no way that I'd be picking those up. And some of these other shoes, it's just $42. And I mean, it just amazes me sometimes the prices that I say. These are just Nike shoes, nothing special about them, $20. And they weren't even, I mean, in that great of condition or anything. So I do go and look every once in a while just in case I do see something, but for the most part, I hardly ever pick up any kind of shoes, at Goodwill. I did make my way over to the hats. I love picking up hats, especially at Goodwill. All hats at Goodwill are $2.99, so $3 at my local Goodwill. Of course, pricing can vary from one Goodwill to the next. I came across a couple these three hats, and so I pulled them up because they were in pretty good condition, and then I saw this Amazon hat also in really good condition. I threw, that in the cart, thought I'd look up comps on that. And then this other one, I think it's like a Reef Point. And I mean, this one was in brand new condition, and that's the only reason I looked it up because I thought because of how good it was. But all in all, the only one, surprisingly, that was really, really good was the Amazon hat. Believe it or not, these are the hats that the drivers wear, and they were comping anywhere between like $25 and $30. This one is in a really good condition. Maybe has a little bit of lint on it, but other than that, really good find. Okay, guys, this last item, my GoPro ended up dying. It was one of the last yard sales that I hit up. And I found this audio selector. It's kind of like an input selector at a garage sale for $1. And I wasn't able to get the footage off of it, but I did end up listing it and actually sold already the same day I listed. So it was definitely a good find. So definitely keep on the lookout for different types of adapters and items like this for electronics. They definitely are really good sellers. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification. And I will see you next Tuesday.
Feelings, it's like